Remember, please hit like and subscribe for me. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go.
Hi, everyone. Today is Tuesday, October the 7th. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. Some of you might hear the frog in my throat there. 11 hours of them canceling flights yesterday. So, yes, I was in the business lounge. Yes, it was better than being in the general craziness, but holy smokes, what a colossal mess. I'll leave it there. Okay, but back home with a little bit of fog and some very interesting price patterns we have to look at. You might be saying, why is it that we are looking at the E-mini S&P on the daily? And so as we begin with the E-mini S&P, I want to show you something. The market is coiling. Two things are going to happen. You're going to go, thanks, Captain Obvious. Okay, first, we're going to make a break. Then, after that break resolves, we're going to have continuation. Look at what the intraday traders are doing. You see how close we are to the call wall? Call wall remains 6,800. Now, these are some other GEX levels. And remember, these gamma exposure levels, that's what the GEX actually means, is where the options are positioning above and below us. Okay? So, and they are ranked. So we've got, this is probably a GEX 1 and a GEX 4 on top of each other. And that's 6,825-ish. And then we've got another gamma line above here at 6,851. Now, here's what we are looking at. 3 trading days ago, that would be Friday, we made a very big candlestick that closed almost as a doji. Monday, inside candlestick. Today, inside candlestick. So they are coiling for a break. Now, coils look a couple of different ways. This coil is very positive. Why? Because we are not breaking the lows, as opposed to this sort of inventory accumulation that is wide angle and breaks and then recovers and then breaks and then recovers. The traders are honing in on where price ought to be before a move up or before the move down. Inside candlestick, the same. Now, what would John Hoagland say? John would say, hey, listen, we got to wait for the edges to make a decision if we begin in range and in value. Look at where the put support is on the big contracts. 0 DTE very close, 6,740. The put wall, 6,300. That's very far away, right? The 0 DTE call wall and the gamma lines are almost right on top of the price. So what this means is if we break to the north, we are going to have a lot of pressure to the upside that is going to push us that way, but not without a fight. So you want to watch that 6,800. We're going to imagine that these gamma lines are going to give the chart maybe even 20 points of noise, meaning it could shoot out 20 points, come back, and then shoot out again, or it could shoot out 20 points, come back, and then retrace all the way to the base of the 4-day area around 6,765. Remember, a big slurry of contracts went at this 6,775 level, and that means the price, the positioning there is now on the back foot if they are holding on for, whatever they think they're going to get, right? Okay, so that being said, what are the levels to watch today? Because we're sitting inside range and inside value, inside of this space, it's going to be 67.75 again, right? The wick here at 6,700, let's see what that number is. High. 6,769. That might be it. Notice the low in the overnight, 6,774. That, my friends, I think is the fly in the ointment. These shorts that are still hanging on or perhaps unwinding because they see price action move to the north. Do we have still the government shutdown in play? Yes. Do we still have data that we're looking at? Yes. Do we still have the Fed meeting ahead? Yes. Let's take a look at what's going on for this week. Today, Tuesday, international trade, not a lot, but look at these guys auditioning for their next roles. Listen, we have to work. It's how we eat, but holy smokes. Ridiculous. 10 o'clock, they're going to start talking. Nothing else after that. We've got the bills. Now remember, these auctions don't really matter much because the traders who trade the auctions go back and forth, but we have the EIA and then we've got Jerome Powell speaking on Thursday, right? But every single one of these Fed speakers are just chatting it up, and we're going to be listening because as intraday traders, we just trade on the noise, okay? That's what we're looking for. So we want to look for the retracement and then recovery of 6,774. Then we want to watch for the break of 6,800. Goes to the north. We're in good shape. The put support line today, 6,740. All right, let's do the daily. What is the framework? Very bullish on the daily formations, right? This is the new contract. Very bullish. Dips are buys, my friends. Dips are buys. Could they be deep dips? Yes. What's the line in the sand? 6,774. If we don't hold that line, we will head to the north. So it's either a break of the line and recovery or a break of the line and continuation into the big volume pocket right here. Okay, value area high all the way down at 6,750. And then we've got our put wall right there for the 0 DTEs at 6,740. Let's take a look at the Qs. Let's see where the put wall is. Whoa, check this out. All right, so the Qs have moved their put walls up. Let's delete. Let's remove all these fibs. Yeah. Okay, we could do a standard wave. We're looking at the Qs. I'm going to do a standard Fibonacci wave from recent high to recent low, wave completion, all the way up, 25,329. Let's take a look at how they're positioning. Put wall. Look at how high it's moved up. That's very interesting. Do they have the same formation as the ES? No, they don't. Yesterday, Monday, higher low, higher high. So this is still trending to the upside. That gives the traders confidence to shift the put wall to the north. Interestingly, the put support wall for the 0 DTEs is lower than the regular put support, which tells me it could be a big candlestick formation, at which point the dips are buys. So what is the breakout zone? The gamma wall, a little bit higher for the call walls. It is 25,300. Where is the trading event? Okay, so we have two areas to look at. First area is this high volume region, and that is 25,171. The low of the overnight, 25,122. So for there today, we'll be looking at the traders coming into this zone, maybe kissing the put wall at 25,080, and then bouncing. Dips clearly buys. Everybody's jumping on the OpenAI boat. I mean, wow. What do we have? An AMD deal. It's just, listen, folks, no ideas are original, right? Book of Ecclesiastes says that there's nothing new under the sun. And it's because we like to follow each other, right? So whoever signs the first deal with OpenAI, notice, I don't know if you noticed, NVIDIA faded while AMD jumped. Now everybody's collecting themselves into this OpenAI space with Sam Altman. And that's going to bring more of the Qs up and rotate out of some bigger names and go into some names that are maybe not moving as quickly. And so AMD is one of them. Call resistance, what is the backdrop of that? More going to happen in that space as we continue to the upside. It's whoever's got money to throw at the open AI business. That's what they're going to do. Okay, so what are we looking for? Dips or buys? 25,080. First one, heavy congestion at the 0 DTE put support area, and that's 24,996. That's also the value area high. That would be the sweet spot for a long today, in my mind. Now, if it chases us straight to the upside, we've got the call resistance, the big call resistance. It's so interesting that the 0 DTE gamma lines are outside the big numbers. So they are counting on volatility, but a rotation back to the inside of the range. So very big spikes ought to pull in, just like they have for the last 3 days, right? Watch for the highs. Gamma line at 25,350-ish is the upside pressure event, but look for the dips for the buys. Let's take a look at the YM really fast. Whoa. I don't know about that put wall there. But it is holding, and it's above the call wall. That's very interesting. So don't worry about this one. Let's not look at it. They're buying the dips. All right, micro Bitcoin, monstrosity of a move. All the way out. Here's the daily chart, breaking higher. And now coming back to retest. Remember, what do the traders want to do? Look at how conflicted they are. Put support line says, hey, look at this. The put support line is higher than the call resistance line. That's crazy. For the put support line, they want price above it. For the call resistance line, they want price below it. This tiny pocket is the only place that these guys are going to make money at this juncture. The 0 DTEs, look at this. The call wall and the put wall are both sitting at 127,000. Okay, these guys are really on the back foot, right? So they've shifted their gamma in crazy ways. Accumulation distribution line, which I absolutely love, that we can see in some spaces, but not in others. This Bitcoin event, what's happening? Dips or buys, but the traders playing the options are in quite a pickle. So somebody is going to lose unless they end the day between 125,000 and 126,000. And so that's what they're battling, right? Dips are going to be buys. It'll be very interesting to see how micro Bitcoin ends the day, because they only have literally 1,000 points to keep them in the space. And frankly, because the call wall is underneath the put wall, the only guys that literally, it's not going to be both of them. It's either going to be one, if they move ahead, those are the guys who sold the puts, or two, if they move down, those are the guys that sold the calls. So there's nobody that's going to make money on both sides today. That's unless they shift. So we should see a fairly dramatic price action event today. Here is 122,000. Dips are obviously still buys, but the number that we do not need to lose if we're buyers is this line right here. And that is 123,680. If we step below that line and you're trying to be long, get out of the way, watch it recover, and then take the trade. Other than that, no cigar. Bad idea. All right, let's look at gold. Okay, back to normal. Gold, moving higher. Everything looks really grand here. Let me delete this. Move that sequence out. This is the last wave event we're staring down. It is a buy zone here, folks, right? Not here specifically, but dips or buys, very big movement. Look at this. 3-4 days of accumulation and now distribution. Let's do a measured move. Here we have the box in the formation. It's where everybody's buying and selling. Let's clone it. Move it up here. Right at the top. Okay? So it's 1-to-1 out of the accumulation event. So the halfback, which would give us about the gamma line 4, 3,948 here in gold. 4,000 is the call wall. Next line above it in the gamma line event is 4,026. That big fat round number should give it a little bit of trouble. We can't go back in this contract to see very well, but the big fat round numbers usually dance around a bit, right? This is our 3,000 area, right? Last time we broke 3,000, we moved out about 70 points, right? So if we're staring this down and we think, hey, maybe it'll do what it did before when it came into the big fat round number, notice the range went from $3,070 all the way down to $2,950, right? So, what could we have? About a $200 swath of, about a $100 swath of motion. $50 up, $50 down, something like that. So watch it here. Traders, I think traders are going to go, okay, let's take some profit, but the dips are going to come in and buy. This is a buy the dip formation, and the breakout of the volume and inventory accumulation is $3,922. All right, put support just below it at 3,911. The call wall sits at 4,000. Dips or buys. Maybe it only comes into 3,950. That's quite all right for me. We'll see what happens, right? 3,945. Look at the momentum. It continues to climb. Sidekick said that if we look at gold, take a look at this. Retail traders account for less than 1% of the price action activity in gold. Once retail traders get the buy-in for this, it's going to run so hot. So gold is nowhere near done, folks. It is nowhere near done. There's not expansive buying anywhere in the retail sector, which is how institutions sort of measure out what's going on with activity. All right, so here we are. Call wall intraday, the 0 DTE sits up at 675. If you're looking at selling that strike, that's a great strike to consider selling once it loses it. You don't want to sell right at the limit of that strike because there could be all kinds of buyers that step on the necks of sellers because the trend is so upside. It is an inside formation. Break out to the north, 673. Break down to the south is a little stickier. It starts at about gamma line 1, which is $670. Pre-market, the dip into 670, probably going to give us an opportunity to buy. What's the bottom line? Dips or buys, folks. Dips or buys. But you watch the line in the sand, and if it breaks, step out of the way, watch them resolve above, and then you can go back into the fray, okay? If you decide, hey, I'm going to take it as soon as it comes in, it's got to respond in your favor exactly that way, or you're sitting on the wrong side of the trade. All right, everybody, take care. I'll see you on the streams.